So, the nights are getting longer, shit's getting even colder, and the trees are attempting to bury me with leaves on the way to work. So that means get ready for yet another barrage of seasonal anime as autumn 2018 comes rolling on in. A lot of channels dedicated to anime chatter like to put aside some time for a video covering some of the best this latest offering of shows has on display, but we're not gonna do that. Frankly, it's been done by people far more competent than us. Instead, what we thought we'd do is a little bit of a public service and talk about some of the very worst detritus vomited up by the anime industry this season. Shows you absolutely should not watch because they are just awful.
Please call Childline to help me. Dave is torturing me. This is against my will.
Shut up! You shut the fuck up! This isn't about you. So rewrited, or Derrida who leaps through time. I want you to picture the most generic sci-fi time travel plot.
Doctor Who.
Yes, but worse. This is one that's actually got a serious amount of pedigree behind it, given that Yoshitoshi Abe, who is the guy who did a lot of the character designs and the general aesthetic for Serial Experiments Lain, and one of the storyboard directors of Serial Experiments Lain, they're the two showrunners for this. So I'm reading that, I'm going, fuck, this could be pretty fucking decent, surely. I mean, hell, it's the guys who made Serial Experiments Lain, which is still one of the best sci-fi shows ever put into anime form, as far as I'm concerned.
But Dave, we're not talking about good shows. You're making us literally talk about trash.
Yes, because this show kind of is. Yeah, okay, let's try and do a fucking plot summary quickly. There's a dude called Derrida. He's like an engineer in the year 2050, and he's helped build some robots for a robot manufacturing company that his dad owns, but he's got daddy issues or something. I don't fucking know. They didn't really explain a lot of that. And he's like mates with his other engineering buddy called Nathan, and they discover a bug in the robots that's going to cause a lot of issues if it's not patched. And so they take it to the current head of the company, but the current head of the company is literally Donald Trump, and he's like, no, we're not patching it. And then he tries to have the two of them killed or something for some fucking reason. He gets frozen cryogenically for like 10 years.
So it's the plot of Demolition Man.
Yep, only with killer robots instead.
But the important question is, who won the Great Takeaway Wars? Because Demolition Man answered that, and does Derrida answer that?
It does not.
Wow.
What I'm saying is that Derrida is a poor man's Demolition Man. The plot structure of the first couple episodes is super fucking white bread generic as well. Like, the villain guy, who does look like Donald Trump, they've clearly modeled him on Donald Trump. Donald Trump is basically in this show.
Orange Man bad. NBC memes now. Oh shit, we'll get banned off YouTube.
But yeah, he's just like a stereotypical corporate villain who's like, hello, I'm big evil villain man. I only care about money, lol, fuck the poor, sort of thing.
A man after my own heart.
And like, the main character's best friend, Nathan, might as well be walking around with a big sign reading, I am either going to betray the main character or get shot in the first episode. Surely enough, he gets shot. No one is fucking surprised by
But what
this.
if he's not dead, Dave, and he comes back to betray the character? Because when he got shot, he fell into a time travel machine, which is where this show sounds like it's going.
It would not surprise me. Holy shit, does this thing look cheaply made. Like, CG up the wazoo in places where there really doesn't need to be CG. And we're not even talking like some of the good CG that you see these days in shows where it's not quite as unpleasantly jarring. We are talking what Rob would probably use the term PS2 graphics.
Like, how bad is it? Because, like, Initial D has PS2 graphics, but I forgive it completely because it has Eurobeat over the top of it.
It's not much better than that, and it does not have Eurobeat over the top of it.
So it's a lot worse. Right, got you.
There's still some cool flashes of inspiration in terms of their design and aesthetic, to be fair to them. You can tell that, Yoshitoshi Abe is the guy who did Lain, because there are some really cool designs for some of the stuff that's in the show, like the robots or the killer mech things. They do look dope. And the gun design and the way, there's this mercenary dude who pitches up in episode 2 to save the main character from getting eaten by these horrible skeletal looking mechs, and his gun and the effects it has on the mechs as he shoots it, that's really fucking well done. and it's also doesn't have a lot of the CG thing going on in it, so it looks great. That's a really nice and clever moment. And then immediately we're back to the CG with a really bad car chase. And then there's just some really lazy stuff going on with the design as well. Like, it's supposed to be 2060 at this point, and it's supposed to be this like really high-tech shit going on, and yet the fucking missiles that the robots fire look like RPG-7 rounds, and it's like, what the did the mechs go rogue and join the Mujahideen? What the fuck is going on?
Is it the same thing as like that recent Punisher series that angered me because the Punisher nicks a tank and the tank he steals is a Tiger II and then the Tiger II fires RPG rounds? Is it that level of fucking dumb?
Yes. It's that sort of lazy design. Like, you've just googled rocket, picked the first thing that appeared and drawn that, haven't you, boys? Come on.
To be fair, the RPG-7 is from the 1960s, and it could be a case of cyclical design, so it's gone back around, like fashion. You know how like things come back. Maybe the RPG-7 came back and styled it.
I feel like you're giving them more thought than the designers of that show ever put into the design of their rocket. They literally just googled rocket. This show and I are not gonna gel. Robert, I am going to read you the synopsis of a really, really good show, and you're gonna tell me what you think.
Go.
Tomari Hinowa is
and for that reason I'm out.
is a normal high schooler until one day he's told that he has to become the wife of a mysterious creature called Kanenogi. This is the start of their newly married life.
So it's Tenchi Muyo, but instead of space waifus with big tits, it's My Neighbor Totoro.
I have several questions.
It's weird. All the characters look like they've just walked past an explosion from Hot Topic for some fucking reason.
Ah, so they look like Dave.
Yeah, but they're not fat.
Or depressed.
Or depressed. I mean, to be fair to this, it is based on like a 4-koma manga strip, and the episodes are only like 3 minutes long.
So you're saying that's a redeeming feature?
Yes, it only inflicts it upon you for 3 minutes at a time, because that's about all I could fucking stand. I could see some people finding this really, really funny. I was just fucking disturbed. I'll be honest with you. I'm not even mad with this show. I'm just genuinely confused. So it's not another barrage of seasonal garbage without at least one show about a dude who really wants to fuck his little sister, who is obviously underage,
And for that reason I'm in.
Yes, to jail. Go there immediately. It is a poor man's, and I can't believe I'm about to say this, but this is a poor man's Eromanga Sensei. I didn't think it was possible to create such a monstrosity, but they've done it. Japan has done it.
Is it as bad as that show which has like the teeth brushing fetish thing?
This show is a war crime.
You can feel the animator's boner touching you in the face and you're just not okay with this.
Not only is the show like mildly disgusting, it's also insulting your intelligence. I feel like it thinks it's cleverer than it actually is. Like it's one of those shows where it will introduce like a really, really stereotypical sort of romance comedy element, like, oh look, there's the tsundere girl, and then it'll sort of like take a minute to sort of pause and go, look, it's the tsundere one, we're self-aware. It's like, what are you doing? That's not how you do self-aware comedy. Why are you doing this to me? Even if you are one of those people who enjoys this sort of stuff, don't watch this one. This is a bad one. Also, stop and seek help, but before you do that, don't watch this. When the first episode of Conception kicked off, I thought I was actually going to be pleasantly surprised by the whole affair. It had this kind of slice of life, heartfelt comedy feel to it, like an anime Juno, as this girl's nervously trying to confess she might be pregnant to her friend who's also her cousin. And oh wait, never mind. It's an isekai. No, nobody panic. The anime industry isn't doing anything.
It's another D&D cartoon episode.
The overall plot of it is this guy has been summoned to another world so that he can hook up with all of these girls, like literally just softcore porn scenes basically, in order to create star children or something, in order to save the world. And it's like, oh, I mean, at least it's an honest harem show. This is basically just a softcore porn with an isekai plot kind of welded onto the side, and I want to know why this exists and who thought this was a good idea, because again, we need to report these people.
You can't keep getting away with it!
Imagine like a checklist or something of every single bad trope you could see in one of these shows. Like, there's a mascot character, check. There's a bunch of fucking harem girls appearing, check. The main character has literally no personality whatsoever, check. Also, the two people who are shagging are cousins.
I hope the zip noise came through in there, because if it didn't, I'm gonna have to stand up.
Just go watch porn, guys. Jesus Christ. So I feel like we're forgetting something, like one of those really big shows that everyone loses their minds. Oh, shit.
I told y'all, suckers. I told y'all.
Sword Art Online.
Did I told you get on?
Sword Art Online.
And you still ain't believe me. So here we go.
Sword Art Online.
Talk to me.
Oh yes, look who's fucking back. Look who's sauntering in like they own the place. 6 years worth of fan semen and weeb rage years later, and we're getting hit with yet another series of Sword Art Online. The grandpappy of isekai bullshit is back to climb its throne atop Ship Mountain, ladies and gentlemen. Bow before it. Now, I've said a lot of shit about the first 2 seasons of this show, in addition to admitting to being pleasantly surprised by the spin-off they dropped earlier this year. But one thing SAO's first 2 series never were was boring. Like, silly, prone to story blunders, and headed up by the most cookie cutter of protagonists, sure, but it kept the action going, if nothing else. They had a sense of drive and pacing. Yet, somehow they've managed to fail at even this in the latest series, because holy shit if this isn't one of the most dull and meandering shows I've seen all year. Shithead Squadron makes a brief appearance in a spot of Gun Gale Online action, but that's really the most you're going to get in the way of engaging action sequences these first few episodes. The rest is just plodding setup for the season's new setting, and a lot of two fuckwits hitting a tree with an axe for extended periods of time. Because the first episode of this show is literally 47 minutes in which basically fucking nothing happens. I suppose I can be sort of fair to it. There are a couple mildly redeeming things in that it's A1 Pictures, so the art and animation is pretty well done, if a bit Wonder Bread generic. The opening theme is pretty good. Shout out to Lisa. She has
Dave, it's just trash. This whole video is trash and I want to die. Can we stop already? The only nice thing is after this video I need to go get a fucking cancer scan. Like, come on, Dave.
The people who like this show already. Nothing I can really say is going to change their mind on that, I don't think. But holy fuck, if you're just starting now and you're sort of like, oh, this Sword Art Online thing is really popular, we should maybe check it out. No, don't do that. Don't do it to yourself. Go watch something better, please, for the love of God.
Just watch Goblin Slayer.
Yeah, it's a wholesome and happy show.
Rated PG. Just so we're all clear, Dave still watches Sword Art Online despite, knowing that it's trash.
I do it so other people don't, man. I'm taking this bullet for everyone.
Take a real bullet.